Hey, what's up? This is Diesel, and there's some videos I won't lie that I kind of regret deleting. And this one about thing right here, I felt I just gotta remake it, you know? Like, though I wish I didn't delete my debut video, it is good that now I can revive it, and have some different opinions and some ones I said in my unpopular before. It was with the time. And some is just were dead wrong, and some I realized weren't as unpopular as I thought. So these are my unpopular opinions on pro wrestling. This is a redo, an updated version, I should say. And my first unpopular opinion is in the 90s, Sting was better than Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels was a better wrestler. A lot of people say even in the 90s, Shawn Michaels better than Sting. No, he was not. Sting was a way bigger draw. He was more over for more years. His show was kicking Shawn Michaels' show's ass. In 1997, nobody was more over than Sting. He was the most over guy in the world. Same thing with 92. Even though wrestling with WWF was so more popular than WCW, it was like Bret Hart got more over towards like after SummerSlam. Randy Savage, I don't think he was as over as Sting. So 92, I gotta give that one Sting. 91, I'd say Sting was the most over wrestler too, more over than Hogan and Warrior. But yeah, Sting, he was better than Shawn Michaels in the 90s. He was a bigger draw, more over, and more of the face of the company. And when Shawn was the guy in 96, they weren't drawing too well. They really weren't. Even in 97, like, Shawn started to kind of feel just there as a babyface. Then he had to turn heel. And worse, he retired the year after that. And Sting still was one of the key guys in WCW. He covered WCW from top to bottom when you look back on it. Like it's in the greatest wrestlers of the 90s. And in the 90s, Sting was bigger than Shawn Michaels, and that is a fact. Coming, my next unpopular opinion, Shane Douglas was overrated. Now, I know you diehard ECW fans love this guy, but when you look back on this guy, pretty outdated. His in-ring style to me was less than average. I didn't care for any of his matches. His promos were okay. Like, to me, he was a guy, right place, right time. Caught the right promo by slamming the ECW title and, slamming the NWA title saying, fuck this title. This is the real ECW title. Was involved in the first triple threat match. So to me, he was just nothing more than a guy that was the right place, right time. My next unpopular opinion is, at times, now not like before, but back then, at times, I kind of found Triple H to be a little bit homoerotic in the ring. Like, does anyone remember that choke he used to when he puts the choke on the guy and like, and then sometimes when he stalls with the pedigree, and then how he ends the spine buster sometimes looks kind of gay. And then, like, remember that move when he does the spear, and then, he holds the guy's head, and then, like, his position on some no homo shit just looked kind of awkward. So at times, Triple H, to me, he kind of was homoerotic in the ring. My next unpopular opinion, had Sting joined WCW during the invasion angle, they would have buried him. They so would have fucking buried this guy. Look how they handled Sting now. Not all that great. So imagine the fucking invasion angle. What they would have done to this guy. They would have buried him just like they did Booker T and DDP. And then you look at Scott Steiner. I wouldn't say it's a burial, but some people believe Triple H sandbagged Scott. And then Goldberg didn't get buried, but Triple H did hurt his momentum. And it just was not the same when he won the world title at Unforgiven. It's just like, okay. Next one, in my opinion, King of the Ring 1997, Farouk should have went over. I think so. And then drop it back at In Your House Canadian Stampede back to The Undertaker. And some of you guys will say, but what about Undertaker versus Vader, that great match? I'll tell you what they could do. Have it on Raw, a number one contenders match with that same sick match that they had at Canadian Stampede. That could have been a great match. But yeah, like, I felt Farouk, like, in the Nation of Domination, he was like a semi-main eventer. Like, to me, he deserved to be in the world title picture. And look at King of the Ring 97, he practically was. So I think it would have been nice for him to win the title and then drop it back to Undertaker. But hell, it was the Attitude Era. Hot potato with the belt was kind of the thing back then anyways. But I totally understand why he didn't do it, but I think he should have went over and been champion for a month. That would have been nice. First Black World Heavyweight Champion, and be the first Black WWE Champion. And speaking of Farouk, his good old friend JBL. I think he deserved that title run. As a matter of fact, looking back, I loved his title run as WWE Champion. I mean, sure, he had shitty matches, but his promos were fucking awesome. And you guys gotta look at it like this. Brock Lesnar, left. Kurt Angle, injured. Who else were they supposed to do it with? I thought Booker T's heel run was fucking stupid. He should have not turned heel in the first place. He should have been a babyface from start. To me, his heel turn made no fucking sense, and it was just pointless. So, what other heels did you have? Again, Lesnar gone, Angle injured, Booker T's heel turn was just whack. So, JBL to me fit that role perfect. And plus two, guys, you gotta look at like his APA gimmick was getting really stale. Like the act was really old by then. Like we've seen it before. Like did we want to see him go the rest of his career as Bradshaw and this tag team? And another thing I gotta look at too is 2004. The tag team division was kind of dead. Yeah, Haas and Benjamin, they split up. Los Guerreros, they had to split up because Eddie was on the bigger things. WWE champion, and Chavo, he was a decent singles. He had a good singles run, so they had Hornswoggle bury him and that dumb Crow and White gimmick. Who else? Dudley Boy. Okay, did I say Dudley Boys already? The Dudley Boys getting stale. Haas and Benjamin broke up. Los Guerreros split up as three great tag teams. Lance Storm, I don't think he was even there at the point, so him and William Regal couldn't be a tag team. I don't even think he was there. Billy and Chuck, that was done in late 2002. There'd be no point in bringing that bullshit back. FBI, I think they were split up, but even so, towards the end of their run, they kind of felt irrelevant. But the tag team division was dead. There was no point in keeping the APA. You had to split them up. And JBL did a great job as heel champion. Sure, his matches were crap, but his promos were fucking awesome. Him and Eddie feud was kind of decent, though it got a little bit racist, but still, you know. Him and Undertaker, so build up. The match was horrible. I never even watched it, to be dead honest with you, but I've heard some bad reviews. And plus, two, in 2004, Undertaker was kind of rusty to me at that point. And he just was not great in the ring at that time. So, yeah. JBL deserved that run, and he made great out of it. Next up, Brawl for All was awesome. I liked watching it. I enjoyed it. But the whole reasoning behind it was kind of unnecessary, but I still liked Brawl for All. I like seeing the wrestlers like fight each other for real, you know. It sucks that Steve Blackman got injured in like his first fight. Cause if he had not get injured, he'd fucking win this thing. Like they thought Steve Williams, let me tell you something. Even back in the 80s, Steve Williams could not beat Steve Blackman. No, he couldn't. If you think Steve Blackman was a lethal weapon in the 90s, you should have fucking seen this guy in the 80s. This guy's a fucking tank. To me, Steve Blackman in the 80s looked like the white version of Haku. No word of a lie. Steven got his ass kicked by Steve Blackman, but I enjoyed the Brawl for All. The reasons behind it was kind of ridiculous, but I enjoyed watching it. Next up, I'm not gonna lie to you, the Kiss My Ass Club the first time it happened, I kind of thought it was funny. But would I want to see it back? No. Next up, Road Dogg Jesse James. Great on the mic, but he was one of the worst in-ring performers I'd ever seen in my life. Like, in one-on-one matches, he was almost no better than the Sandman, honestly. Like, he just wasn't a good wrestler at all. He sucked in the ring, straight up. He sucked. And had he been solo and had like a solo career and stuff, and gone for a long time, the YWC would have fucking hated this guy. And worse too, like he had a regular body, so like, you know, kind of crap in the ring. Next up, in my opinion, John Cena is not a holy candle to Ultimate Warrior and Goldberg. I stick by that. Warrior and Goldberg are better than John Cena. Moreover, bigger draws, bigger deals, bigger matches, and better eras. Cena does not hold a candle to Warrior and Goldberg, in my dead honest opinion. Next stop for Shawn Michaels. His first run was still better than the second run. A lot of people think that his second in-ring run was better than his first one. Nope. Nothing can touch a mid-90s Shawn Michaels. Especially Shawn Michaels in 1996. This guy was tearing the house down. No year in the 2000s of Shawn Michaels could even compare to 1996 Shawn Michaels. Matches with Bret Hart, those overrated. His match with Mankind. He tore the house down. Like, he gave fucking Psycho Sid the best match of his career. That match is fucking awesome. He gave Diesel a 5-star match, in my opinion. He gave Diesel a 5-star match. Fucking amazing. He was at his athletic peak. He was wrestling as a baby face, you know, so he could wrestle clean and whatever. He was just tearing the house down, pay-per-view after pay-per-view. Like, this guy was just fucking awesome. So Shawn's first run is way better than his second run. His second run does not touch a 94 to 97 Shawn Michaels in the ring. This one I hate to say, but I gotta be honest. Owen Hart before his death in 1999 was kind of becoming a little bit irrelevant. Like, before the Blue Blazer, he wasn't really saying much. What could have revived his career, though, you know, Chris Jericho and the Radicals, that could have saved and revived his career. But before that, Owen Hart was kind of irrelevant, to be honest. Next up, NWO Hollywood versus NWO Wolfpack, and even LWO really could have been a great storyline, could have worked, had the Hogan politics and the WCW bullshit just didn't get in the way of all that. Wolfpack versus Hollywood could have been one of the greatest feuds of all time, but just Hogan's politics fucked up everything. LWO, I thought that really could have been something. Eddie Guerrero just had mad fucking charisma. He really did. Next up, speaking of a WCW guy, Sting made a dumbass decision by not fighting Undertaker at WrestleMania 27. Waits for how long, faces Triple H, and gets beat, which was so fucking stupid. He could have just came, faced the Undertaker, and had a kick-ass match with the Undertaker, because this Undertaker was the last time he did the suicide dive and the flying clothesline and had his long hair. This could have been amazing, but no, he turned this down for what reason I'll never understand. Next up, WWE, I really felt would have been better had Eddie Guerrero not died. Like, he had, like, the charisma, the great matches. Or, like, at least, had he been alive, it would have still been good if he was around, or half decent at least. I felt he could have helped young talent. He could have been put in some great feuds. 2006 would have been his greatest in-ring year, if not greatest year period, in terms of his feuds, his mic skills, and his in-ring work. And he would have peaked in 2006, honestly, but still, he could have dying, I felt hurt WWE. Like, I don't know, I thought the entertainment value when he died just kind of went downhill from there. Never came back up. Had Eddie not died, I felt the show would not have been as bad. He, at a point, was one of, if not the most entertaining thing. If you're going to go by strictly from a charisma standpoint, 2003 to 2004, Eddie Guerrero, in my opinion, was the most charismatic guy and putting on the most entertaining shit out of anybody. And most likely I'll make a video talking about what a year Eddie Guerrero could have had in 2006. Coming up next, I simply just don't think John Cena would have been as big had Brock Lesnar not left. He would have been big, but just not to this level, in my opinion. Because with no Lesnar, there's a lot of shit you really could have done had Lesnar not left. Him versus Triple H was planned for WrestleMania 20. I thought him versus Batista could have been the next Hulk Hogan versus Ultimate Warrior. Him versus Deadman Undertaker, and better than what the fuck we got last year. That feud was crap. And just a lot of great matches. Him and CM Punk. Him and Daniel Bryan. Like, I just feel that John Cena would not be as big if Brock Lesnar never left. For all the reasons I just said. And my next unpopular opinion, had Triple H and Hogan simply put over guys, the business really could have been a better place. Picture Hogan putting over Bret Hart. Sting. Who else? That's throwing on to others like Scott Steiner. Him not getting... Well, nah. But yeah, picture Hogan putting over Sting, Bret Hart. Sting and Bret Hart. What that could have really done for the business. That could have done a lot for the business. Triple H, picture him putting over the former WCW guys like Goldberg and Booker T, putting over Randy Orton and stuff, you know, not burying everybody, putting over Kane and RVD. The business could have really been a better place. And it's a better show had those two men just simply put over guys. And if Hogan were to just put over guys, WCW would have been a better place. Next up, Kevin Nash had a few good matches in WCW. Hold on. But back in WCW, His match with Goldberg at Starrcade '98 was better than what I expected, better than what a lot of people expected. In 2000, his match at Booker T was pretty good. I think it was, I forget when it was. It was the same time when Goldberg and Scott Steiner had that classic match. His debut match, partnering up with Scott Hall facing Randy Savage, Lex Luger, and Sting. That was a great match. The Outsiders versus Harlem Heat Halloween Havoc '96 was awesome. Kevin Nash versus the Giant in early 1998, under fucking rated. Except for the botch, was actually a pretty damn good match. So yeah, Kevin Nash haters. Kevin Nash did have some good matches in WWE and WCW. Not just with Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. He had some good matches in WCW. Next up, Mr. Anderson's TNA run sucked ass the minute he stepped in TNA. Honestly, he was a guy that only WWE knew how to make. Nothing memorable except his match with Kurt Angle. I found his promos to be lame and just didn't care about him. Tried to be Steve Austin. Promos were forgettable. And yeah, just he sucked in TNA, in my opinion. And another thing with Mr. Kennedy, my opinion, thank God that WWE fired him. Honestly, I felt, let's say had he not got injured and stuff, he would have got old a bit fast. Like, I'd say by 2008 would be his last good year. By 2009, this guy would be kind of irrelevant and kind of a joke. His matches were mediocre. His mic skills, like, it would have, the act would have got old, honestly, because look at him now, just lame. Next up, NWO and WWE was bound to fail. You have, like, I understand why they brought him in the first place. To me, to get t-shirt sales and do a little WCW versus WWF match, NWO versus Austin and Rock, and that was a very good match, and that was a realistic WWE versus WCW match. But you knew Hogan was going to turn face. You knew fans missed him, and you knew this was not WCW. It was, what's it called? WWF. This is Hogan's country. And worse than Toronto, too? Forget about it. Of course the fans are going to cheer him, so I hate when people talk about NWO, should have continued after WrestleMania 18. No, we did not want to see that. The Invasion Angle was done and failed and just booked like shit, so we just didn't care. Even as a kid, I wanted to see Hogan turn back babyface, and he did, and I liked it. Next, I loved Vladimir Kozlov's first push. I actually thought of this guy as a main eventer, and I thought he had what it took to be a main eventer. I thought he was a realistic Russian fighter. I believed he was one of the toughest guys on the roster. And to me, he was just a natural born badass. And even in real life, like, he really is a tough guy in real life. But yeah, like, a lot of people in the YWC hated him. He did have some shitty matches. And don't you guys remember when Undertaker put him over clean? I kind of thought he deserved it at the time. Like, I thought he was going to be some, but fans just didn't like him. Maybe wrong era, wrong time, but I liked Vladimir's Kozlov push. Next up, Hulk Hogan versus Shawn Michaels. In my opinion, the right guy went over. I really do think so. To me, like, I would have only wanted to see HBK maybe go over if he was a babyface himself, but I really do think that Hogan was the right guy to go over. Shawn Michaels played the heel role well. Hogan played his face role well. I just simply rooted for Hogan to win. And Hogan, he's the greatest of all time. And did he have to just lose to everybody? He put over enough guys in the WWE. So in my opinion, Hogan was the right guy to go over. My next unpopular opinion, Taker versus HBK, WrestleMania 26 did not have shit on 25. 26 was a 5-star match, don't get it wrong, but at the same time, not even close to me. It's second or even third to WrestleMania 25. To be honest with you, I think WrestleMania 25 was number 1, Hell in a Cell was number 2, and WrestleMania 26 was number 3. So it was third to the first place of Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker at WrestleMania 25. Next unpopular opinion. The Rock vs. Triple H Iron Man match is a way better Iron Man match than Bret Hart vs. Shawn Michaels. Bret vs. Shawn had some boring spots, but Rock vs. Triple H, that match was so great. I didn't even realize an hour went by. That's how great it was. Not one boring spot, not one drag-on spot was in this fucking match. Rock vs. Triple H was just fucking great. And it had pinfalls in it. Next unpopular opinion. I never liked Christian's heel turn in 2011. I thought he was annoying. I thought he looked like a bitch. I thought he sounded like a bitch. He talked like a bitch and acted like a bitch. Just bitch, 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 bitch. I fucking hated that heel turn. I never liked it in the first place. I remember thinking, oh man, he's going to be a heel. He's going to be fucking annoying. He's going to sound like a bitch. He's going to cry like a bitch. Fuck this shit. I just simply don't like Christian as a heel. I didn't like it. They booked him like shit in my opinion. And to me it's like they're trying to justify him losing the title in the day, and his world title runs were fucking, he made it look like a chump in my opinion. I never liked that fucking heel run. I never will. I always like face Christian better than heel Christian any day of the week. Next up, Brock Lesnar versus Triple H at SummerSlam was fucking awesome. To me, it lived up to my expectations. A lot of people complain, oh, we don't want to see this MMA type match. We came here for WWE wrestling, not MMA. If we wanted MMA, we go watch MMA or UFC. Oh, fuck you guys. This is a realistic match. Look like a realistic fight. No. It has some great technical ability. It had great strategy. It just looked realistic to me. And this was a dream match I wanted to see since 2002, honestly. So 10 years later, they finally made this match. And to me, it lived up. Worst to Triple H put over Brock Lesnar and tapped to the Kimura lock. Rightfully so. And then WrestleMania 29 had to happen. But yeah, great match. Lived up. Loved it. Next up, Bob Backlund's second run was way better than his first run. Yeah, he was the face of the company for how many years, but he was a boring champion. Sure, he's a great wrestler, but as charisma guy, his mic work just boring. And the last 2-3 years, oh, this guy's still champion. For his time, he was the Klitschko's of pro wrestling. His second run, charisma, the crazy Mr. Bob Backlund. He was entertaining. He had the best match of his career with Bret Hart, in my opinion, a 5-star submission match with Bret Hart at Survivor Series 1995. No, 1994, I'm sorry. Just great matches. Got the WWE title in a great match. The best match of his career, and the best mic skills of his career. There's that part of me who wants to say this was the peak of his career, but at the same time, he was stronger and faster during his first WWF run, so. But still, his second run was way better than his first run. Next up, Sting's heel turn actually worked. Just the problem was he was wrestling in a t-shirt and he looked like he could not wrestle to save his life anymore and just looked really old. To me, that really hurt his heel run. I felt how he was still in shape, didn't wear a t-shirt, and still could fucking wrestle. His heel turn could have been fucking awesome. And I think it worked. Just the problem was he was old and washed up at that point. Next up, at WrestleMania, Undertaker WrestleMania matches, Undertaker versus Diesel was a better match than Undertaker versus Kane. I really do believe that. See, WrestleMania 14, Kane was still kind of green. WrestleMania 16, no, sorry. WrestleMania 12, I can't believe I was mistaken that twice. WrestleMania 12, that's when both Diesel and Undertaker both were really just, they were improving and getting good, but by WrestleMania 12, both men were fully polished in the ring. Both men were still at their best in the ring. Post 1998, Taker was at his best, but Kane not fully. And plus, Kane and Undertaker's chemistry was kind of overrated and kind of disappointing at times. But yeah, Taker versus Diesel, in my opinion, better than Taker versus Kane. My next unpopular opinion, I truly believe Stone Cold never wanted to face Bill Goldberg. Let me explain to you why. Goldberg was a powerhouse. At times he was reckless. He hurt people. And he injured people. So a half-broken necked Steve Austin, and whose injuries are at risk, and is injury prone and has neck problems. Would you trust Goldberg either? Probably not. And speaking of Stone Cold, had Stone Cold versus Hulk Hogan happen at WrestleMania X8, the fans would not have booed Stone Cold, and they probably would have drew just a little bit more than Rock versus Hogan. But yeah, the fans would not have booed Steve Austin. First off, since 2001, the fans started to, reside against The Rock and, turn against him and start to boo him or not care about him as much because he's a sellout, fucking idiots, to Hollywood. And, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. They start to resent The Rock since, 2001. But yeah, Austin versus Hogan was a way bigger dream match than Rock versus Hogan. Austin versus Hogan was a match people been wanted to see over Rock versus Hogan. In my opinion, I could have lived my life and never watched Rock. If Rock versus Hogan never happened and Stone Cold versus Hogan did, I honestly could have lived my life and not cared to ever see that match. Really and truly. And plus, fans loved Austin. How many times did the fans really boo Stone Cold Steve Austin in his career? Maybe his heel turn when he beat up Michael Cole. And when he went to Bret Hart's country to face the Hart Foundation at Calgary, I think. So Austin is more of a likable guy than Hulk Hogan. I mean Stone Cold. I mean The Rock. So, in my opinion, I don't think fans would have booed Stone Cold Steve Austin. My next unpopular opinion, Undertaker and Ultimate Warrior had good matches in 1991. I kind of thought they had decent chemistry together and, they made the best out of what they could with each other. To me, that was the perfect, Batman versus Bane type of feel to it. Because, who gave, Undertaker, Ultimate Warrior, as tough as a match as Undertaker did? No one else. Coming in my next unpopular opinion, I had no problem with Kane as WWE champion in 1998. Kane at that point, I kind of felt deserved it. And, something new. Sure, he lost it back in the day, but still, I felt Kane deserved it because Kane was awesome at that point. 97 to 99 till what's called like WrestleMania 15 is Kane's peak. Yeah, his athletic peak was like 99 to 2002 or 2000 to 2002. But from a character standpoint, how he was booked and how he was used, 99 to 97, 97 to 99, WrestleMania 15 was him at his strongest. Next up, speaking of 1999, Michael Cole did an awesome job on commentating at WrestleMania, at Raw in the beginning of the year. Mankind is a genius dream, and the dream of everyone else who's been told you can't do it. Michael Cole did awesome commentating back in 1999. Like, he had that emotional investment in the match. Like, I felt he got people excited. I felt he got people emotional. Like, that was his best work. People say Michael Cole was never good. No, I'll give you 2 times when Cole was good. The Mankind versus The Rock match and him and Taz together. That was Cole at his best. Speaking of commentators, Jim Ross was way better than Gordon Solie. Gordon Solie's overrated. To me, Gordon Solie's outdated. He was for that time. Yeah, he sounded like a weather broadcast or news reporter or whatever, but, just not appealing to my Canadian black ears. That's all. But, yeah, like, JR's way better than him. More exciting, more emotional invested, more cooler. Look at the Jamaican dancing with, like, the JR commentating over it. Just fucking awesome. And yeah, like, JR, like, he just gets more pumped. Like, he tells a better story, and, like, I just get more excited when I hear JR. Next up, AWA, ECW, and ROH. Basically just different variations of each other. AWA was the 80s and up. ECW was the 90s. ROH was the 2000s and 2010s. All 3 are third rate. All 3 were basically glorified developmental companies. And all 3 of them had the early stages of the future stars. AWA was the future of... AWA was like the spark of Hogan, Michaels, Road Warriors, Michaels and the Rockers, Andre the Giant, Mean Gene, Sergeant Slaughter, and others. ECW was the spark of Stone Cold Steve Austin and the Dudley Boys. And ROH was the spark of CM Punk and Bryan Danielson and Samoa Joe. It's said that he's going to be coming here in WWE. We'll see how that turn out. And yeah, just different variations of each other, ROH, ECW, and AWA. Next up, I had no problem with Owen Hart joining the Nation. See, I noticed a lot of people did not like seeing a white guy, Canadian white guy, meeting these militant black people, but we got to understand was, at that point, The Rock was shifting away from that image of the Nation of Domination. They changed their name to The Nation. They even do this anymore. It was just, they had their own little swag to it, So they were in a different direction at that point. So I personally understood why Owen Hart was in it. And also, too, Owen Hart had beef with Triple H, and he wanted to continue that beef. So now that his brothers and in-laws are gone, he has some boys to back him up now against the Generation X. Next up, Stampede Wrestling and Puerto Rican Wrestling. The in-ring styles, I think, are boring. Just not interested. Just not me. I don't find the matches good. I just don't care about them. They're boring to me. Next up, even if Triple H was not married to Stephanie McMahon, he would still have the same character. I mean, look at him. 2000 was just friggin' his year. He was awesome in 2000. 99, he was good. Look at his DX character. And he still would have been in Vince's ear because look who his best friend was, Shawn Michaels. So if he didn't have Stephanie, he'd have Shawn Michaels. And plus, it was said that Triple H is a big ass kisser. Look at John Cena. Is he married to anybody in the business? No, he's not. He just kisses Vince's McMahon's ass in more ways than one. So even if Triple H is not married to Stephanie and they didn't fuck, he'd still have a great career. This notion of Triple H should not be that great if it wasn't for Stephanie, not that true. He wouldn't have as much title reigns like being like fucking 12-time champion, but still, you know, he still would have had power. He still would have had say, and you know, still would have been great. Next up, the best version of the Four Horsemen was in Ole Anderson, the original Four Horsemen, even over the one with Barry Windham in 87 or 88. To me, Ole just had that old school flavor to him. He had that OG in him, like, you know, he's been experienced, you know. That, like, he looked like Arn Anderson's older brother or cousin. And, like, to me, Arn Anderson was the enforcer, but Ole kind of felt like the enforcer too, honestly. And like he had that OG-ness in him in his character. He was just mean, hateable, rugged, didn't give a fuck. Like Ole, he was tough still. I personally thought the original Four Horsemen was the greatest version of Four Horsemen ever. And when it comes next, unpopular opinion, when it comes to runs, I thought Rey Mysterio's WWE run was way better than his WCW run. Oh my god, why am I getting tongue tied? Like, yeah, he was quick and he's at an athletic peak and he was younger. WCW weighed less, but WWE he was like, how do I say it? He was better overall. He knew how to tell a better story. He knew how to get you excited, you know. He was booked better in WWE. He was booked stronger. Some of his greatest matches, in my opinion, were in WWE. It's like, he was like, how do I say it? How do I say it? I'm missing the word here. Like, yeah, that's it. He would just, his in-ring style was more polished in WWE than WCW. Like WCW, sometimes he just did moves for the hell of it. WWE, it had a purpose, and that's why I liked his WWE run better than his what's it called WCW run, because not only was he booked better, but he told better stories, and he knew when to apply his moves at proper times. Next up, at WCW, when how WCW still been alive and never went out of business, in my opinion, eventually both companies, WWE and WCW, would have went downhill, and both shows eventually probably would have sucked. Not as bad as now, but still, you know, I just don't think Vince would have cared that much longer, because he realized he's not going out of business, and you know, still gonna have competition, but eventually both companies would have sucked at a point. I really think so. Cause like WCW just on and off, you know. Yeah, they had big plans, but the egos, the politics, it was just on and off. Next unpopular opinion: New Age Outlaws and the Legion of Doom never had a bad match with each other. Me personally, I liked all their matches. I thought their in-ring work was underrated. They knew how to tell a fucking story together. Their chemistry was just great. Worst two, New Age Outlaws was just Road Warriors elevated them in that feud. Such a great feud in my opinion. Now when it comes to JBL's in-ring work, JBL's in-ring work was better than APA Bradshaw's in-ring work. I'll explain this to you. Yeah, Bradshaw was faster, but when we look at JBL's best matches of his career, they were with Eddie Guerrero, John Cena, CM Punk. How many great matches did he really have when he was in the APA? What were some of his great matches as a tag team? None really. Name me one 4-star match he had with in the APA with another tag team. Just name me one. Exactly. He was a main eventer. He was solo. He had to tell better stories because he knew he wasn't that great in the ring. Yeah, he was slower, but still, he told better stories in the ring and just wasn't just another tag team partner. Next up, even if Magnum TA hadn't had that accident, I personally think that Sting eventually is going to be the new top face of the company. Like, you can't be over forever. Look at Hogan. Was he going to be over forever? No. By the time 1990 hit, it was time for him to pass the torch to Ultimate Warrior. And I think around that time, Magnum TA would have to pass the torch to Sting. He's not going to be the guy forever. And worse too, he was about to get... Magnum TA was about to be that guy in Starrcade 86 and have the ball passed to him. And Sting was just so good, so charismatic, and good in the ring that I think that he was going to be the new face of the company anyways. Second last unpopular opinion. To me, Benoit and Michaels didn't mesh that well in the ring when it came to one-on-one matches. It's like, what memorable matches they really, really have? Like, it was just okay at best, Nothing too memorable. And my last unpopular opinion is Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels was the most overrated in-ring chemistry ever. Holy shit. See, to me, this was what the new Ricky Steamboat versus Ric Flair was supposed to be. It just wasn't. The egos, them not getting along, just kind of fucked it up for me. And even Bret Hart said the match at Survivor Series 97, they only did like 30% of what they're actually supposed to do. And he said that had their egos not been so high, they could have had better matches together. And that proves my point. These two guys' matches, most of them were kind of I like their ladder match. That was my favorite match they had together. Their match at Survivor Series 92 was decent. Their WrestleMania 12 match is overrated. Their Survivor Series 97 match was solid. Just a punch fest, honestly, and just alright. But their in-ring chemistry is not that great. Really wasn't. But yeah, those are my unpopular opinions of pro wrestling. What are some of your unpopular opinions? Which ones do you agree with, disagree with? You guys let me know. Give me your feedback, comment, subscribe, and I'll be back to more videos.